like cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
You said when Michael Moore passed away, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were investigated for his murder.
Right.
What happened and what was the outcome of that situation? I'm sorry.
I was the personal representative. In the meantime, from the hospital incident to the time he died,
Right.
we went and got Maximus. We got back home. Everything was great.
Right.
He made me power of attorney of his medical and his financials.
Okay.
We sat down. We did a will. We had my mom, myself, or my daughter, and John, our insurance agent.
Okay.
They all signed it with Neva
as witnesses.
Right. And he notarized it.
Okay.
Miss was at school that day, but we had called him in the room the night before when we were writing it. And Maximus, what do you want? If something happens to your dad, where do you want to live? You can stay here with Judy in the house in Arizona.
Right.
Or you can go back with your mom in California.
Okay.
You decide. Oh, no, Dad, I don't want to go to California. I want to stay with Judy.
Right.
So Michael writes in his will, Judy's to get full custody of my son. So that night that he passed, I couldn't think, let alone find the will. And it was not a priority to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So they had to notify the next of kin because they didn't know. I couldn't produce a will.
Absolutely. Okay.
So they had to notify his dad. So his dad tells the investigator.
This is Michael Moore's father.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
James Moore. He says, get my son out of that house, away from that white bitch.
Oh, wow.
And the investigator says, you do understand if we take him from the house, he'll go to Child Protective Services. He'll be in the system.
Oh, you mean the grandson he meant?
Mm-hmm.
Take Maximus out of the house, away from you. Okay, gotcha.
Exactly. So they had no choice. That's what he said he wanted.
Yeah, they had no. Yeah, absolutely. Based on what they understood. Right.
Right. So John, which came out of nowhere, I never expected it in a million years. He's like, you can't do that. She is the only thing that child knows for 12 years, or, since 7 years, since kindergarten.
Right.
And his dad passed away, and you're going to take him away from that?
Right.
And he said, well, we don't have a choice. We have to.
Absolutely.
So he went around the room. He hugged my mom, my sister, everybody in the room, which was all my family.
Right.
And he was fine. But he was just like his dad. Very strong, kept it together, not one tear. And before he left, I said, do you want to go with me to see your dad before you go?
And so Michael Moore, his body is still in the house?
His body's still in the house.
Upstairs?
Well, yeah, because the downstairs was our gym.
Right. So upstairs in the bedroom, he was still upstairs.
Right, he was still in the master.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm on a gurney in the body bag, but they didn't zip. They didn't have a zip.
They didn't have a zip.
Up to like his chest.
Okay. Wow.
They let us go back and say goodbye.
Okay.
So Maximus and I went back together and we're holding hands. He stands on one side and I stand on the other.
Right.
And I broke down. I just totally lost it. And Max just stood there. He didn't, he was so young. He really didn't know what to do.
Right. Absolutely.
But he did want to see his dad.
Right.
So he came over to console me.
Okay.
So I kissed Michael on his cheek, told him I loved him. And he cried a tear of blood. One tear.
Wow.
And Max just went. I mean, we both just stood there like, what the hell was that? you know, and I just lost it, totally lost it. Like I'm about ready to do now. So I didn't want to let go. And the guys that were there had to take me off of him.
Wow. So when did they get to the part when they started to investigate you?
Okay,
for that situation.
Okay, so they took him away. It took 6 months to get the coroner's report.
Okay.
So I get a phone call one afternoon, and I had already became the personal representative. I was already taking care of everything. No one contacted me from the family. Nobody wanted anything.
Had you produced the will at this time?
Yeah, I hadn't turned in everything.
Okay, you had to turn in everything, right? So when did the police contact you? I mean, how did that work?
The investigators contacted me one afternoon, and he said to me, "This is John Flanagan, investigator Flanagan.
Right.
I am the investigator for Michael Moore's death."
Okay.
He said, "I need to talk to you about the coroner's report."
Oh, wow.
And he said, "You can come to my office. I can come to your home. Or if you feel better, we can meet at a neutral location, like a Starbucks or something."
Right.
I said, "No, I have no problem with you coming here. I have nothing to hide."
Right.
So I called my attorney and just let him know. And he goes, "Judy, don't say a word. Make him come here."
Right.
I said, "No, I'm not, Tom, because I am not paying you $250 an hour to know what you already know. I have nothing to hide."
Absolutely.
So he was so pissed off at me, but I didn't care. So he arrived. He sat down at my dining room table, and we talked for a good 2 hours.
Okay.
And he said to me, "Well, explain to me why Maximus called 911. I said, "Don't patronize me. Don't talk down to me. You will respect me in my home. And don't sit there and pretend as if you did not listen to that 911 tape. If you don't know the difference between a grown-ass woman and a 12-year-old little boy's voice, and you're going to sit there and pretend like you don't, we're done."
Right.
He goes, "Okay." He goes, "I need to ask you, did you call 911? I said, "You already know the answer to that question." He goes, "I need to hear you say it." I said, "Yes, I called 911. Are we done?" It's 2 hours. Then he says to me, "Well, we found methadone in Michael's system, and he was not prescribed methadone."
Right.
I said, "I was prescribed methadone." "Well, we took a picture of your pills, and yours were on the kitchen sink or the bathroom sink top, like they were large to small bottles. I had them in I'm so OCD, the biggest one to the smallest one.
Okay.
We have pictures of them. We also have pictures of the inside of the safe where Michael kept our pills normally. And some of your extra ones were in there as well."
Right. Right.
I said, "Yeah, because I take them as I need them.
Right.
Unlike some people take them as they're directed. I don't like walking around like a zombie.
Right.
And I suck it up as long as I can until I can't take it anymore."
Absolutely.
So my count would never be right.
Okay.
Because when
The count on your pills, you mean?
pills, when you go to
Right.
pain, your count has to match the number of days in the month.
Okay, got you. Oh, I see.
Urine specimen.
Right. Right.
That other stuff. So we were seeing the same doctor. And Michael would go to the pharmacy, to Walgreens,
Right.
for our medication together.
Okay. So so the officer basically says that Michael had methadone in his system, and basically he wasn't prescribed methadone. You were prescribed methadone. So basically he's thinking that you gave Michael or put methadone in something that he had.
Well, see, that's what I didn't get.
Okay.
Because I took it as I gave it to him. But then when I did an interview with someone else, I forget who it was so long ago.
Right.
Then the things that people commented just blew me away. because
So basically, no. So what I'm trying to get to is the gist of what happened in that process. So how did the summation of that come up? What was the result of this investigation in regards to you?
well, he said that he was getting 50 emails a day from the family about me,
Okay.
and that they felt that I had given him the methadone.
Right.
And I said, well, how would I have done that? Because Michael did what he wanted to do with who he wanted to do it, when he wanted to do it, because he wanted to do it.
Right.
Nobody could change his mind.
Okay. So basically, what was the result of the investigation?
Well, when I told him that Michael went to the pharmacy and picked our medication up together,
Right.
he said, so you mean to tell me he went to the pharmacy to your house with the medicine alone? Well, yeah, if I wasn't with him. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
It never made a difference to me because it got home to me.
Right.
And like I said, my account would always be off anyway.
Okay.
Because I didn't take them enough.
Right.
Because I didn't like to be that whacked out.
Absolutely.
So he starts asking me other questions that I felt were extremely inappropriate.
Right.
And I said, we're done. And he goes, well, you need to answer the questions. I said, no, I don't. He said, yes, you do. And if you don't answer them here, you can answer them at the station. I said, I'm not going to sit here and answer one question about our sex life. Okay? Okay. You have asked me enough questions. And I told you 3 times now, we're done. It's my turn. Number 1, did you find ligature marks on his neck? No. Was there bruising on his neck? No. Was his esophagus, his voice box, or his larynx swollen?
Right.
No. Were there any fingerprints, any bruising on his neck? No. I said, okay, you just answered 4 questions and they were all no. Why are you asking me this question?
Right.
Because apparently I was the only one that was doing it right. I didn't have to choke him.
Okay. So what happened? Basically, what happened? I mean, he asked him.
Quite honestly, it was quite bizarre. We get to the front door. He's ready to leave now.
So this is after a 4-hour conversation, or should I say interrogation?
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Here's the thing. He said he wanted to talk to me about the coroner's report.
Okay. That was right. Absolutely.
So I had no idea at this point. That's not what it was.
Ah.
So we get to the front door.
So he basically lied.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
So we get to the front door and he goes, is anyone here? I said, no. He goes, do you have a radio on? No. I said, wait a minute. Why do I hear my voice? Why am I listening to my own voice? Where's that coming from? He pulls the tape recorder out of his pocket.
Oh, wow.
And I go, were you recording our conversation? He said, oh, yeah. All murder investigations are recorded. I go, what?
Wow.
You have to notify me. You have to tell me that you're recording me. No, I don't. I go,
No, by law, he doesn't have to tell you. But I just find it ironic that he lied.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He didn't even say, I'm coming to investigate you for murder. I would have had my attorney there.
Absolutely.
Not that I needed him, but I would have felt more comfortable with the situation.
Absolutely. So he basically was investigating you for the murder of Michael Moore.
Exactly.
Wow.
Because he had, and I calculated it. I got a copy. I didn't get a copy prior to his arrival.
Right.
But I did get a copy in the mail.
A copy of what? The coroner's report? Okay, gotcha.
I sat down, and my niece is a nurse practitioner.
Okay.
So I called her, and she broke it down. I'm not good at math. And he had 1 pill based on his body weight and how we calculated it.
Okay.
The dosage of 1 pill.
Right.
Mine. The rest were all his.
Wow.
And he had one hell of a cocktail.
Okay. So basically, Michael Moore died from an accidental overdose.
Right.
Of opioid pills. Okay, gotcha. So no, I'm glad we were able to cover that in, so
right.
we could help like the public understand, because like I said, Michael Moore, a lot of people talk about him in relation to the death row situation, as I asked you in the beginning in regards to how he passed away. But I wanna slide to the so what was because there was a lot of conversation between Michael Moore and Frank Alexander, right?
Oh yeah.
So what was Michael Moore's and Frank?
But let me clarify one thing for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Like I said, Michael was very strong, very, difficult.
Right.
But I loved him. That didn't change a thing.
Right.
But the things that people were saying were just so cruel and so evil, and things that I would have never, ever in a million years thought of. They accused me of putting it in his food and putting it in his drinks. And I mean, people came up with some crazy shit.
Right.
Of how I killed him.
Right.
With the drugs and the overdose.
Absolutely.
And the kicker was Michael was actually addicted to his medication, but he was functioning properly. So I had no clue.
Absolutely. Okay.
But
no, I mean that's not uncommon though.
Well, it is to me.
Okay. But I'm saying
I never experienced anything like that. But my brother had passed away 2 years prior to Michael the same way. And my brother was not functionable.
Right.
So I would have never thought that Michael was hooked on his drugs.
Okay.
And the things that people were saying were so far-fetched.
Basically, people, when they don't know, what they do is they speculate. And it makes for a great conversation.
And it was crazy because I was like, well, you know so much about that. How do I know it wasn't you that did it? I mean, the things that they were saying were so bizarre and twisted. It was sickening. So
basically, the summation of it was that they found out that you had nothing to do with it.
Right.
Okay.
I mean.
No, I'm saying. I mean, basically that's the gist of it, because you're sitting here.
Yes, that was the outcome.
Because you're sitting here talking to me. We have Judy Lachowski, Michael Moore's fiance, 2Pac's bodyguard. Like I said, thank you for coming on the show, a Straight Game TV, and clearing up all of the rumors, the lies, and giving us an in-depth personal view into who Michael Moore was, how he passed away. But most importantly, I want to thank you for your time, and it's your boy DELRAY, Straight Game.